Can I ask you, sir, what do you think of that? Don't make sense? It don't make sense. Okay, thank you. This is my honorable discharge. I got it. I bet they wish they could pull that one back. Boom. Lots of trouble with this stuff, medical stuff. This is hard to read. I won't go through it. I'm not a doctor, but New Britain General Hospital. I started hemorrhaging through the skin, 1984. I had a lot of problems. We lived with nightmares, all kinds of, we're all of us. This is not the Larry Warren Rhodes show. I'm a representative, hopefully, of others. The doctor came out. My ex-wife, my first wife, was an occupational therapist at this particular hospital in Connecticut. And we went, I mean, I was just blowing blood right through the skin, weirdest stuff, I'd heat up. And we went through a lot of tests and all this, and I get all these doctors giving me this bad look privately, and my wife's there. And they said, were you ever in the military? And I said, yes. And they said, were you in Vietnam? I said, no, I'm too young for that. They said like this, were you ever around a nuclear weapons? I said, yes, but not much. Well, they said, you were showing signs, he said, in my opinion, this is all his opinions and write-ups, of exposure to an unshielded nuclear device that we would normally see in 20 years, and this is 4 years. Now, you must imagine that all of us that were close to this phenomena over different nights are pretty goddamn scared as we're hitting 50. Are the third eye going to grow here, or webbed feet? Well, I got them, but I mean, you know, other than that. It's scary, man. It's scary. So I'm just trying to give you a thing. I'm not doing a flying saucer story today, you know. This is more of that, you know, stuff. And it was an unnerving day. I don't know what that is. Controversially, there are, in my opinion, 3 landing sites in the forest. First nights, third nights. Halt is investigating not the first night's event on his tape, 2 nights later in the middle of the night. That was done the next morning. Halt is investigating a new site in the trees when we're called out to bring light-alls. See, it's taken a lot of years for the pieces to fit together. Halt is about 400 yards to my left. There is no way Charles Halt did not see what I saw. With all due respect, there is no way that Mr. Gordon Williams, our wing commander, who was a heavy-duty guy, would not have come out there or at least been notified about it. I say this with respect. I have respect for these people and their ranks and what they had to do and probably the pressure they're under. I don't have a pension at all. Dog food city when I'm 65. What that thing was I showed you. This is Capel Green. This is the thing I saw. Way over this way, to the left, is a farmhouse that Halt talks about. There was activity there, but with, frankly, what was going on in front of me, all filmed and photographed, I didn't look anywhere else. This has been analyzed by a real scientific lab, Springborn Labs, many times. I'm no scientist, but in the end, crystallized like an industrial microwave to a cone 5 feet deep. Whoever owns this field, when we were touring our book, they had a whole field of hemp, which looked like, you know, Cheech and Chong stuff, you know. Convenient, because there's a lot of news going out there. There's never been a crop in that field before or since. Weird stuff. Anyway, there's that. Let's see what's next here. 30-year reunion this year. A guy named John Burroughs, one of the important witnesses, is trying to get it together. But I've been around a long time. I want to share a letter with you, and then we're going to transition. This is a letter to the editor of the Air Force Times, Larry Bryant from Cause, suggested I do it. I wrote it 26 August 1985, sent it off. They never published it, but here's the actual letter. Nothing new under the sun. When I was on duty as an airman first class with the 81st Security Police at RAF Bentwaters Woodbridge, I happened to be one of the witnesses to events that remain disturbing to this day. The events known as the 1980 UFO encounter at Rendlesham Forest have left me in the middle of a controversy where I find that the Air Force ostensibly has washed its hands of the case and that the major news media generally have been uninspired to dirty their hands with it. To help me ease out of the middle, I ask that any Air Force Times readers with documentable evidence of the various events surrounding the case or evidence of active participation in the events, contact me immediately so that in a united effort, we might proceed with the necessary strategy for any upcoming congressional inquiry and FOIA litigation. With your sworn testimony, either as a voluntary submission or as a response to a subpoena, we can compel the government's full accountability on what exactly occurred on those very strange nights, actually it was wrongly written, in 1980. The adage, there's strength in numbers, certainly would apply to such a high visibility, multiple witness case like ours. I'm talking to the brothers. Now is the time to come forward, confidentially through me if you prefer, so that we can add your voice to mine in the appropriate forum. The government has the answers to the questions that we have been asking ourselves for the past 5 years, 30 years. Now is the time for answers. Let's separate fact from fiction. You can reach me through the editor of the Air Force Times. Of course, they were so brave, I'm sure that went in the skip. But I've been trying to do this, folks, all along. That's all I wanted. I commend John Burroughs, who doesn't live far away, and I commend him for his efforts and what he is doing and trying to do. I hope these new guys know what they're getting into. I really do. I don't wish any harm to come to them, their families, emotionally. They have enough. These are hurting units. Let's see what else we have here. The reason it was all worth it is this little guy standing next to me. You know, I'm portrayed as a victim, oh, poor Larry, this and that. Well, you know what? I've been through some hell. But a lot of people in this room have been through hell. But I'd do it all again, because I met this kid's mom when we toured this book. And I've learned more from this little 8, almost 9-year-old fella named Dennis. He's my mini-me. He's a gentleman. And he's got a lot of heart, and he's got an open mind. And he goes, Daddy, am I famous like you? And I go, you'll probably be doing my gigs, pushing me around a wheelchair. And the joy of my life. Joy of my life. And I hope if he gets anything from his old man, he loves looking at my old TV shows I've been on back in the early 80s and all, because he thinks of the hairdos and all. Just absolutely mad. He's a wonderful fella. He's the pride of my life. I would do it all again, for him and all the youngins, the young people. Because, you know, we need young people, and I've met some great young people here. I really have. We're getting there. But that's my Dennis Waren, and he's a great fella. Hope you meet him someday. We, funny enough, you know, you can go on with this forever. I could do a Grateful Dead level 4 hours. As time went on, this book, there's an updated thing. You go to Cosimo. I was going to read them, but I have something more important to share with you, and someone very important to this case, I believe. A lot of statements. A lot of people wrote to us after the first edition of the book came out and said, dead on, thanks for what you're doing. I don't want my teeth kicked out like you've had yours, so we'll wait till it's safe. We need you, everyone here, to stop. You know, Roswell happened, obviously, and all, but God bless those guys. You know, it was a different era. You know, we were after Vietnam, you know, and the government was a little more questionable. You know, Nixon had been there. Haldeman, Ehrlichman, I mean, my mother was a saint. We had all that, so the world was different, and, you know, we don't buy the show. I love my country. I have a 4th of July party every year in England. We call it Let's Piss the Neighborhood Off party, and I fly the Stars and Stripes. But the English, you can't keep them away from the beer, so we get sold out. It's great. It's on 4th of July. It's all good. If you're from England, come on up. Yeah, it's good. It's a biker do. It's been an honor, man, all this stuff. And I want to thank Bob Brown. We're not done yet, because I got something heavy coming. Obviously, in all these years, Rendlesham Forest, Bentwaters, or whatever, is not about Larry Waren. Larry Waren was the only guy mad enough to, and I knew it was that important. And I thank God to my parents, my family, and my friends, that some don't have any knowledge of UFOs, for their support. I thank people like Bob and Terry Brown, who first invited me here 10 years ago, where I met my ex-wife, but who can blame her, Sue, and she is the great mother of my great son. So, you know, from bad comes good, from the dark to the light. And I know a lot of you guys always expected me kind of like a Keith Moon character, and, you know, throwing TVs out the window of a hotel and going wacky. And, you know, I'm getting older and slowing down, but I know I have to represent myself probably a little better than I was.